Hello, Rowan, and let's share my screen so that we can go over our maths for today. Before we start anything, can you spend 5 minutes on TT Rockstars? See if you can send me a rock slam. I will check it in the afternoon and respond to any that you send me. And can you also think of how many different ways we can say multiply? There's one beginning with P that we mentioned in the autumn term in our remote learning. Hopefully you can remember that, okay? And it's the answer to when two numbers are multiplied by one another. So pause the video here and you can do your quick TT Rockstars and brainstorm your vocab. Okay, today we are going to be focusing on multiplying two-digit numbers, for example, 32, 49, or three-digit numbers, 146, by a single-digit number. We're going to be using the short multiplication method for this. We're not going to be using the pictorial or the visual, similar to yesterday with the add-in. I'm going to try and do this quite slowly to show you each step. It's a lot trickier when I'm not there in front of you drawing it and showing you. So you may just need to keep pausing it and rewinding it. This is the most important part of the video. So make sure you're listening carefully to this part and then you can go a bit quicker through the PowerPoint because it's just the questions, okay? So first of all, 32 multiplied by 7. My line's a little bit wonky there. Hopefully yours is neater. We have our 32 and then we have our 7 in our ones. I can't put my 7 here because that means I would have 7 tens. So I would need a placeholder of 0. So I've got 3 tens, 2 ones, and 7 ones. Okay. The first step is I need to multiply my 2 by my 7. So 2 times 7 is 14. So I have 4 ones and I have 1 10. So my 1 10 is going to go in my tens column and my 4 ones are going to stay here. So let's just show you that once more. 2 multiplied by 7 is 14. So I put my 4 ones and I carry my 10. Okay. Next step, I now need to do 3 times 7. Of course, we know that's 30 times 7, but for ease, 3 times 7. See if you can calculate that. Hopefully you got an answer of 21. But when we skip to the next slide, I've got 22. And that's because I need to add on the 10 that I've carried. Okay, let's show you that one more time. So we're now going to do 3 times 7 is 21, plus the one that I carried over is 22. So 32 times 7 is 224. Let's move on now onto 49 times 3. Those of you may be looking at that number straight away and thinking, oh, 49 is right next to 50. I know that 50 times 3 is 150, and then I could just take away one lot of 3. That's amazing if you're thinking that straight away. Well done. Today we are going to be focusing on the method though, so please still use the methods for these questions. So hopefully you've noticed that this is how we lay it out now. 4 tens, 9 ones multiplied by our 3 ones here. You might want to have a little practice of this by yourself now by looking at the example here. First step, 9 times 3. If you can't, if you're struggling a little bit with your 9s, remember the trick that I showed you where you write down your 0 to 9 and then your 9 up to 0, help you out. But 9 times 3 is 27. Think about where I'm going to put my 7 now. My 7 goes here and I carry my 2 into my tens. And now I need to move on to 4 times 3 or 40 times 3. 4 times 3 is 4, 8, 12. But I can't forget to add the 2 that I carried on. So 12 plus 2 is 14. So I put my 4, instead of carrying a 1, because there's no other digit there, I can just put it next to it. So I've got 14. So 147. 49 times 3, 147. If you're feeling confident, pay close attention to the 3-digit by 1-digit now. If not, practice a couple more just with 2-digit by 1-digit. So think about how you're now going to lay out 146 times 5. Hopefully, it'll look something like that. Think about your first step now. 6 times 5. What is the product of 6 and 5? That is 30. So this time I'm going to put my 0 here and carry my 3 tens. So 6 times 5 is 30, 0 ones, 3 tens. I now need to move on to 4 times 5. 4 times 5 is 20, and I need to add my 3 tens that I carried over. So I've got 23, but I don't put 23 now like I put 14 here because I've still got a digit in my hundreds column. So I've had to carry my 2 over. Let me show you that again. 4 times 5 is 20 plus my 3 is 23. So I need to put my 3 here and carry my 2. And then final step, exactly the same process, but I need to do it for my hundreds as well. So 1 times 5 is 5 plus my 2 is 7. So 146 multiplied by 5 is 740. If you're not feeling too confident with that, the PowerPoint slide that I'm about to share, I've got some questions to build your confidence and give you some more to practice with. There's your date and LI to use a written method of multiplication. And here is your first set of questions. They do get a little bit trickier. The numbers get a little bit higher. You've got 9s and 7s to deal with there. And then you've got 3-digit by 1-digit there as well. If it gets too difficult when you get to here, see if you can create your own 2-digit by 1-digit. If you're ready to move on now, the answers are going to come up on the next slide. That's your answers. I'll just give you a few seconds to pause your screen there so that you can mark them. If there was just one that you got wrong, maybe repeat that one and see if you can get it correct. And then a few questions for applying this method, or to quickly practice some other multiplication methods, are coming up. If this is taking you 45 minutes, please don't feel like you have to do this. This is a bit of an extension, okay? You just keep trying to push your learning as much as you can. Here is the first question. So this is called the grid method. See if you can work out the missing digits. I've got 8 multiplied by 3 is 24. So 4 multiplied by something equals 28. What could that be? Your second question, quite similar. This is almost like a bit of a crossword. 4 multiplied by 8 equals 8 multiplied by something equals 56. But 3 multiplied by that same number there equals 21. And then 4 times 3 equals. Question 3. Again, this is a shorter grid method. So 9 times something is 63. 9 times something is 54. Then that something multiplied by something else is 56. I would suggest doing these 2 boxes first. And then your final question, your challenge X, is quite a tricky one if you're really looking to push your learning. A machine pours 250 milliliters of juice every 4 seconds. How many liters of juice does the machine pour every minute? Little tip, think about how many seconds there are in 1 minute, because this tells me 250 milliliters every 4 seconds. What calculation can you do there? And then pause your screen and your answers are going to come up on the next slide. Here are your answers. I'm not going to go over them in detail. I'm going to let you read over them. If you've got any questions or people really seem to struggle with that, email me and I'll spend a bit of time either on Friday or Monday's lesson just going over those. Keep up the hard work. I'm missing teaching you in person. I know it's a little bit trickier when we are using these online resources, but keep resilient. I know you're doing great, and I'll see you for our next lesson.